What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Thesis, aka Thesis himself, from Vaping with Thesis. That's right, God bless it. Now look, Hawkeye's mother truckers, now peep game, son. Today we have got the Wotofo Recurve, a collaboration between MikeVapes and Wotofo. In my humble opinion, a match that was meant to be. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and get up close and personal with the Recurve. Hawkeye's mother truckers, now peep game, son. This RDA has been an amazing flavor chaser for the time that I've had it, and there is no substitute for it. With that being said, MikeVapes sent me a text. He's like, bro, do you mind if I send a couple of these bad boys out to you? I said, absolutely not. Go ahead and send them my way. So huge shout out to Wotofo, huge shout out to MikeVapes for doing that. Much appreciation, broham. So this bad boy is set up to be squonk compatible as well as dripper compatible without having a squonk pin. It does come with both. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you receive in the box. You do get the Recurve sitting right there with its beautiful resin 810 drip tip sitting atop. I've got the stainless steel with the blue drip tip and the black with the red drip tip. Love them both. However, I did opt for my own drip tips on these setups for reasons you can see here. There's another 810 drip tip that is clear. I like the fact that that's included, and I especially like the fact that there's a 510 adapter included in here as well. And of course, you got a beautiful manual showing you exactly how to set this thing up. Now, there's a few reasons you can see right off the bat why it's called the Recurve, and that's because the bottom is curved. I believe the reference that they made with the Recurve is they're referencing a Recurve bow and arrow. However, me personally, I'd call this bitch the half pipe. So this is probably one of the simplest RDAs you can possibly build on. If you've never used a dripper and you want to get yourself into squonking, this is by far and away the easiest setup that I've seen thus far. With that being said, let's go and open up these little bags and see what we got. And we got ourselves 1, 2, and 3 fused Claptons. Look at these absolutely beautiful coils. Wotofo snapped off on these. They generally send out really solid coils with the devices. And this is actually really solid cotton. I like the way that this looks. I actually prefer this cotton over the Japanese square patches. And then of course here we've got our extras. This is gonna be our spare kit plus our tools. You got screws and of course your coilers right here. I like that. This does come already set up specifically for a squonk. I actually removed the squonk pin and put the regular pin in so I could use it on the Minikin Kodama Boost. And then of course you got yourself a Phillips head screwdriver. Absolutely perfect. Hawkeyes, back to the setup. So this one right here, I'm rocking on the Asmodus Kodama. This is one of the most beautiful mods I've had ever, period, plain simple. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this bad boy off. This is a one-piece chimney, something I like a lot. Less parts, the better. I like things to stay as simplistic as possible whilst maintaining a high-quality vapor production. This is not something you're gonna use to generate 12, 14-foot clouds. This is something you're gonna wanna use when you're specifically craving the flavor that you want out of your juice. This is exactly what this thing is set up for. If you take a look at the outer diameter of the deck itself, look how beautifully this is set up. These are some of the smoothest screws you can possibly ask for at this price range. This runs for about 30 bucks on vapordna.com. If you would be so kind to hit the link in the description, that is how I make my income. With that being said, I think this thing is priced at exactly where it needs to be. Rocking dual O-rings just to keep that chimney nice and secure. It's hard to compare this to a lot of other RDAs because most other companies want to keep their cost as low as possible, and a lot of times what they do is they keep their chimneys extremely thin. This does not have that issue. So if you're taking into account that we're measuring the peak of the curve on the outside and the thickest part on the inside, we're looking at roughly 3.3 millimeters. There are some upsides and some downsides about that. One of the upsides being, of course, is that it's very durable, but on top of that, it's gonna take quite some time for this thing to heat up. The downside is, once it's hot, it's gonna retain that heat for quite some time. Now, the chimney itself is made specifically for an 810 drip tip, and this is actually the one that it comes with right here. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. The resin drip tips look beautiful, not to mention they're extremely high gloss. There is no O-ring needed on here because the O-ring is inset on the actual drip tip inlet itself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the airflow itself. You can see right there, 6 holes. 6 holes. They're fairly tight for an RDA. Right now I'm using Candy Pop. This is Sour Rat. They're not sponsoring the channel. I'm just mentioning that because it is delicious. I do like the fact that this chimney locks in place. The noise from the airflow is very quiet and very subtle. I like that. If you do want more airflow, you can do so by just doing this. Bam skis, turning it all the way. The difference is though, is that you're gonna get a little bit different flavor because these airflow holes are gonna be lining up long ways as opposed to sideways. So let's go and line these holes up with this open area here. Pop that down. Whew. There's a definite audible difference between this versus this. You're getting much more airflow with it off to the side or going down the coil the long way. So the way that these come is with a squonk pin pre-installed right there. It's a slotted screw with a hole directly down the center of that positive pin. Now again, keep in mind that this is a single coil RDA. It's got 4 post holes right there. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. All going with a Phillips head and a flathead grub screw right there. You know what? Looking at this right now, it almost appears like you'd be able to use a hex screw as well. Kind of curious. Let's go ahead and test it out. This is a hex key right here, and it does fit. Today I'm going to use White Gummy by Macchiato. This is one of my favorite liquids. One of my homeboys, Will, sent from Alaska. Huge shout out to that mother trucker. Bam. Let's go ahead and wick this bad boy down first. Wet the coil just enough so she's pre-soaked. Want to get her nice and saturated just like any other RDA. Now something quick I want to mention, depending upon how long or short your legs are, you're going to want to get this coil as close to the bottom as you can, whilst making sure that these airflow holes are directly on the coil. If it's too low, the airflow is not going to hit it quite as much as you want. If it's too high, same situation. Now I believe that this liquid's around a 50-50 blend. With keeping that in mind, I'm going to have to make sure not to push too hard on this bottle. Oh, that is so beautiful. You guys have no idea until you try this RDA. Just using this RDA makes me smile from the amount of flavor that I'm getting. And that's exactly how a flavor RDA should be. Alright, mother truckers, now with that being said, let's go ahead and get back to regular view, son. Welcome back to Regular View, son. So my final summation is this. The Recurve RDA by MikeVapes and Wotofo, in my humble opinion, is a perfect flavor chaser. So if you're into hardcore flavor, which I mean, who's not, this is a perfect RDA. The look of it is absolutely gorgeous. When you take a draw on this RDA, it feels exactly how you would expect. Everything about this RDA was well thought out. The grub screws, the airflow holes, and the amount of airflow holes to the depth of the deck, everything feels like it was done on purpose. And that's what I like to look for in any given device. Again, any product. I like to go through a product and feel like there's an X factor. To me, the X factor with this device is quality. With that being said, there are a couple of improvements that myself personally, I would make, but it wouldn't necessarily be for everybody. Personally, I like the option for a little bit bigger inlets on the airflow holes as well as a little bit bigger reservoir on the bottom. If the reservoir on the deck was just a bit taller, maybe by 1 millimeter or 2, I think it would make this RDA that much better. I want you guys to go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you prefer, cloud RDA or flavor RDA. We all like them both, but which one is your daily preference? Don't forget to hit me up on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, and on patreon.com/ThesisHimself. Alright, mother truckers, now with that being said, I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all for vaping with Thesis. It is your boy Thesis. I'm out.